One of the things that sets us apart in this industry with regards to home loan approvals is the ability to be continually resilient and relentless in the approach to any given home loan application. Right? So what I mean by that is that when we receive answers from the various banks that we engage with, that is not really to the liking of not only ourselves as the bond originator, but ultimately to suiting our clients' needs. It's not really aligning or matching with our clients' needs, and the outcomes are perhaps negative. We need to be able to go back to the drawing board confidently and challenge the various banks on the answers that we are receiving. We need to have the confidence to have those challenging conversations, and it comes with generally experience over years and years of various cases that we have engaged with. And we can tell with regards to those previous case studies that we've gone through, what are those pertinent points that we can actually challenge the bank's decisions that are maybe not fully correct. And recently I was faced with a case that really, really challenged me. I had to pull my socks up and, really dig deep and go and take on this application with multiple, challenges and negative responses that I'd received during the course of this application process, one of which was an upfront challenge on the zoning of the property. Now, in this particular matter, the zoning was for residential use. However, there was a caveat that was added onto the property detail deed search that gave it the ability to also cater for commercial purposes. So what that really means is that the foundation of this property is zoned for purely residential use. However, the municipality has also allowed the owner of that property to convert it into an office space or whatever other commercial reason, to use it for that purpose. So it has call it the hybrid functionality. Now, in this case, we can go ahead and have the banks approve it in the residential finance space. It doesn't have to go over to commercial space because it has the basis of the foundation of that property is kitted out majorly for residential. And so that was the first challenge we had to overcome. And then we overturned that negative response where the retail bank section was like, no. And then we had to go back and challenge them. And then they overturned it to a positive outcome. So that was the first challenge. The second challenge was around the way that they scored the directorship because it was a business, right? And they needed confirmation of shareholding. And a lot of our clients don't actually realize that shareholding can be updated at any time of your particular property, particular company that you are buying within. So say, for instance, this particular shareholder that you have currently on the registration documentation of your specific company, they are not really going to be forming part of your application process. You prefer to just have yourself. And so that changeover can happen literally in a couple of days, where your accountant can update the shareholding information on that particular company. And so that was something that we were able to do quite quickly and efficiently. And so that was one thing. The second thing was surrounding affordability. So we were tight on affordability on this specific application. And in this instance, the particular bank we were approaching that was giving us, more reason to continue having these conversations with in terms of leading to an approval, they were able to consider future rental income. And so this was something that we could add to that affordability assessment and bring that to the forefront of the affordability assessment. This takes some additional intervention in terms of us realizing, oh, wait a minute, there is still the future rental, realizing that this is a bank that does consider it. And then second to that, what is the documentation that we could actually go out and request to appease the concern with the bank that was raising the affordability issue? And so we obtained a future dated lease agreement that was going to be put into place by the time this home loan that we were applying for was going to register. So we could present them with the future dated signed lease from that tenant, and between the current the current applicant and the future tenant. And then we could also secure a rental agency's appraisal on how much rental they could secure from a different property that they also were in the process of purchasing. So these are factors that we could pool together and present to the credit assessor at the specific bank and assure them that this is the intention of the property purchase and that rental income is going to form a big part of the home loan repayment. And so this was all part of that process, and we could then overturn the affordability decline to actually an approval for a 90% bond. And then we went through to valuation, and that was kicked off successfully. So all of these milestones that we faced had challenges. We were presented with these challenges and we had to problem solve as the bond originator. We had to come up with solutions. I couldn't merely just take the feedback, or this is not how I would, venture to take on an application. I wouldn't take those challenges and then, just dish it back to the client and say, oh, well, nothing more we can do about this. That's not the attitude that we have or should have when the client is entrusting us to go out there, not only get the best interest rate, not only get a discounted attorney rate on the bond registration, but also ensuring the client that we are fighting for an approval, and presenting that application in the best possible light, and always to have the mindset of being solution driven. And that is at the core of the service we provide.